The steel doors of the detention block hissed open, and Commander Anna of the Terran Defense Fleet was shoved forward by 2 Crithian guards. Their scaled hands gripped her shoulders with enough force to bruise, but she kept her chin high, refusing to give them the satisfaction of seeing her wince. The war had been brutal. 6 months of bitter fighting across 3 star systems, and humanity had finally lost. The Crithian Empire, with their superior numbers and advanced shield technology, had systematically dismantled Earth's defenses. Anna's fleet had been the last line of resistance until 2 weeks ago, when her flagship had been crippled in the Battle of Proxima Station. Now she stood in the grand hall of the Crithian warcruiser Dominance, surrounded by enemy officers who regarded her with expressions ranging from curiosity to contempt. At the far end of the chamber, seated on an elevated platform, was Supreme Commander Velkoff himself, the architect of humanity's defeat. Commander Anna Carter of Earth. Velkoff's voice boomed through the hall, his 4 eyes studying her with unsettling intensity. "You have caused my empire considerable inconvenience." Anna said nothing. Her uniform was torn and stained with dried blood. Some hers, most not. Her dark hair hung loose around her face, having lost its regulation tie somewhere during the final battle. But her eyes remained defiant, green fire that refused to be extinguished. 37 of our capital ships destroyed, Velkoff continued, rising from his seat. He was massive, nearly 8 feet tall, his reptilian features somehow both alien and oddly regal. 200,000 Crithian warriors dead, an entire battle group delayed for months. All because of your, what do you humans call it? Guerrilla tactics. "We call it defending our home," Anna replied, her voice steady despite her racing heart. A murmur rippled through the assembled guards. One of them struck her across the back, forcing her to her knees. The impact sent pain shooting up her spine, but she bit down hard, refusing to cry out. Velkoff raised a clawed hand, and the guard stepped back. "Leave her," he commanded, descending from his platform. His boots echoed in the sudden silence as he approached her. "Do you know why you are here, Commander?" "To be executed, I assume," Anna said, still on her knees. "Or perhaps publicly humiliated before my execution." "In part." Velkoff circled her slowly, like a predator examining wounded prey. "In my culture, there is a tradition. When a warrior shows exceptional courage and skill, even an enemy warrior, we honor them before their death. We grant them a war bonus, a final privilege." Anna's jaw tightened. She'd heard stories of Crithian war bonuses. Usually, they involved choosing the method of one's own execution or being allowed to send a final message home. Neither option seemed particularly appealing. "I don't want any favors from you," she said. Velkoff stopped in front of her, towering above her kneeling form. "It is not a favor. It is a debt of honor. You fought brilliantly, Commander. Your tactics at the asteroid belt ambush cost me my finest admiral. Your hit-and-run strikes in the Oort cloud prevented our forces from regrouping for weeks. You are, without question, the most formidable human military mind I have encountered." He paused, and something shifted in his expressions, something almost like respect. "My advisors tell me that your people have a custom," he continued. "When warriors prove themselves worthy, they are sometimes granted recognition through physical affection, a gesture of respect between equals." And as eyes widened slightly, she suddenly understood where this was going, and it filled her with a complex mixture of confusion, anger, and something she couldn't quite name. "You're joking," she said flatly. "I do not joke about matters of honor." Velkoff extended a clawed hand toward her. "Stand, Commander Anna Carter." For a long moment, she didn't move. Every fiber of her being screamed at her to refuse, to spit in his face, to maintain her hatred until the very end. But something in his eyes stopped her, a genuine admiration that seemed impossible given the circumstances. Slowly, she placed her hand in his and allowed him to pull her to her feet. The hall was utterly silent. Every guard, every officer watched with expressions of shock and disbelief. In Crithian culture, such a gesture toward a prisoner was unheard of, especially from the Supreme Commander himself. "Your war bonus," Commander Velkoff said, his voice carrying to every corner of the chamber. "Is this?" Before Anna could react, he leaned down and pressed his lips to hers, a brief, formal kiss that lasted no more than 3 seconds. His skin was cool and textured, completely alien, and yet the gesture carried undeniable weight. It was not romantic, not passionate. It was a warrior's acknowledgement of another warrior, a symbol of respect that transcended species and allegiance. When he pulled back, the hall erupted in shocked whispers and angry hisses. Several guards looked ready to riot, their hands moving toward their weapons. But Velkoff raised his hand, and silence fell once more. "Let it be known," he declared, "that Commander Anna Carter fought with the courage of 10 warriors. She defended her people with honor and skill. Though she is our enemy, she has earned the respect of the Crithian Empire." He turned to his guards. "Return her to the detention block. She will be treated with the dignity befitting a prisoner of war, not a common criminal." As the guards moved forward to take her more gently this time, Anna found her voice. "Why?" she asked. "Why do this?" Velkoff met her gaze one final time. "Because honor recognizes honor, Commander, even across the void of war. And because when your people tell the story of this conflict, I want them to know that we Krithians can distinguish between conquest and respect. Anna was led away, her mind reeling. The kiss had been witnessed by dozens. It would be recorded, reported, analyzed by both sides of the war. She didn't know what it meant for her future, or for the fragile negotiations that might follow humanity's defeat. But as the detention block doors closed behind her, she touched her lips briefly and allowed herself the smallest of smiles. In the darkest hour of humanity's defeat, an enemy commander had reminded her that honor could exist even in the heart of war, and somehow that made all the difference.